Hello students, today we are going to see a new topic, that is Newton's laws. So before going to start this class, let me recall the previous class. So that is the best way to connect you all with this class. So in previous class, we studied about Aristotle fallacy. So what is Aristotle philosophy? Aristotle said forces cause motion. So without force, there is no motion. That is the principle of Aristotle. Then 15th century, Galileo put this statement into his microscope and do certain experiment to prove that force is not necessary for the motion of an object. So he said that an object can maintain its movement even without the external force. Okay, so force is not necessary to maintain the movement of an object, motion of an object. Okay, this is said by Galileo. Okay, so in general we can say Aristotle coupled forces with motion, but Galileo decoupled forces with motion. Okay, so Newton formed certain laws based on Galileo's experiment. So the first law states that every object continues to be in the state of rest or of uniform motion, or we can say constant velocity, unless there is an external force acting on it. So if you take any object, it will start to keep on motion or at rest until we give some force. Okay, so if you take any object, if you take a ball, it will start to move, keep on moving until some resistant force act to bring the ball rest position. Okay, so until some resist force, we can say this force as friction force. So this friction force made the ball to be at rest position. Okay, so without the friction force, consider a surface, an ideal surface which has zero friction. There is no friction in the surface, right? So if you roll the ball now the ball will start to move continuously until we give some external force in opposite direction. So until then the ball will start to move continuously. Or if a ball at rest position, if a ball at rest position, until we move it by giving some external force, the ball will remains at rest. Okay, so Newton's first law states that every object, either it is in motion, continuous motion, or it is rest until we give some external force to change its motion or to change its rest. We can say that motion is constant velocity or uniform motion. There is no acceleration in it. Okay, so what is meant by velocity? Change in displacement with respect to time. We can say velocity equal to dx by dt, change in displacement with respect to time, right? So object starts to move with continuous motion, uniform motion, until we give certain force to change its motion into rest. Okay, or the object will be keep in rest position until we give certain force to make the object to move from its original position. Okay, so that is all about Newton's first law, right? So from this Newton first law, we can have one more concept, that is inertia. Inertia means inability of objects to move on its own or change its state of motion is called inertia. So every object in this universe cannot be able to move on its own or cannot be able to move its uniform motion on its own. So this property is known as inertia. If you take any object, it cannot move on its own, right? If you take a ball which is in rest position on the ground, Can the ball able to move on its own without giving any external force? Definitely not, right? Or if a ball is moving continuously in a frictionless surface, can the ball come to rest on its own? Definitely not. So we have to give some opposite force to make the ball into rest position. Until then, the ball will tries to move on the ground. Okay. So inertia, we can say inertia is resistance to change its state. Either the state may be rest or uniform motion. So we can say this state as rest or uniform motion. Okay. So every object cannot move on its own or cannot comes to rest on its own. We have to apply some external force. If we did not apply any external force, then it cannot move on its own or it cannot able to come to rest position on its own. So this resistance property is known as inertia. Okay. So we can understand inertia in the following classes. By certain examples, we can easily understand what is meant by inertia. So inertia can be classified into three types. First one is inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. So first we will see inertia of rest. So in the beginning of video, I asked you one question. That is, why the coin don't move along with the paper? Why it can't able to move along with paper? So the answer is inertia of rest. So we place a coin over a paper. Under we have one glass. So when I pull the paper suddenly, the coin is supposed to move along with the paper, but it doesn't. Why? Because the coin wants to remain its rest position. It wants to be in rest position. So that's why the coin cannot be able to move suddenly along with the movement of the paper. Okay. So initially the coin is at rest position. Okay. Then we place a paper and we have glass beneath it. So if we move the paper suddenly, the coin which is already in rest position, it cannot be able to move along with the paper suddenly because it just want to be in rest position always. It tries to keep its position and it resists to any change. It resists to any change of its state of rest. Okay. It resists, it opposes its change of state. Okay. So it does not want to move along with the movement of the paper. So that's why when you pull the paper suddenly, the coin goes down into the glass. Okay. So we can say inertia of rest as the inability of an object to change its state of rest is called inertia of rest. So we will see one more example for inertia of rest. We can explain inertia of rest by the following example. Consider a person who is standing inside the bus while the bus is at rest position. When the bus starts to move suddenly, the person pushed backwards. Why? So because of inertia of rest acting upper half of the body on the person. So while he is at rest position, the lower part of his body connected with the bus. When the bus starts to move, the lower part is also moving along with the bus, but the upper half of the body starts to resist the movement, so he pushed backwards. Now you have the clear picture about what is meant by inertia of rest, right? So we can say inertia of rest as the inability of an object to change its state of rest is called inertia of rest. Clear? So we move on to the next topic, that is inertia of motion. So inertia of motion means the inability of an object to change its state of uniform speed, or we can say uniform motion or constant speed on its own, is called inertia of motion. So any object which are in moving, so it tries to keep on moving. It cannot be able to change its motion, or we can say it resists to its state of motion. Okay, so even if we want to change its motion, it resists. So it resists to comes to rest position. It keeps on moving. Okay, it keeps on moving. So we can understand inertia of motion by the following example. When the moving bus stopped suddenly, the passenger tends to fall forward. This is because of inertia of motion acting on upper half of the body of the passenger. When the bus is moving, the passenger also moving along with the direction of the bus, but the bus is stopped suddenly. The lower part of the body which is in contact with the bus comes at rest position. However, upper half of the body keeps on moving forward. So the passenger pushed forward because of inertia of motion. I hope you understood what is maybe inertia of motion. Okay, with that example. So in that example, so if the bus is moving continuously, then our lower part of the bus which is connected to the our lower part of body which is connected to the bus keeps on moving. When the bus is stopped suddenly, when the bus is stopped, our lower part which is connected to the bus comes to stop suddenly, but our upper half of the body which starts to keep on moving. Okay, so that's why our body is pushed forward, right? So I hope you understood what is meant by inertia of motion. So we can say the inability of an object to change its state of uniform motion, or we can say constant motion, on its own is called inertia of motion. The third type is inertia of direction. So inertia of direction means the inability of an object to change its direction of motion on its own is called inertia of direction. For example, so we tie a stone in a string. We tie a stone in a string. Okay, so we pull this string and we start to rotate the string with our hand. Then the string will start to rotate like this. Okay, so the force is acting on the string will be towards its center. Let me consider the stone is moving in anti-clockwise direction like this. Okay, so we keeps on rotating the stone by the string. Okay, so when we release them, or when we cut the rope, when we cut the string, what will happen? We have three options. First one is, if the ball comes to center, comes to A, or it goes towards B, that stone goes towards B, or it moved towards C. So which one is correct? So the correct one is the ball moved towards C. So why? The ball is initially rotating. Okay, so when we cut the string, what will happen? The ball keep on rotating. Okay, it wants to rotate on its path, right? But it cannot be able to rotate in a circular path, because with only our force which we give by our hand, then only ball can able to rotate on a circular path. It cannot able to follow the circular path if we take the force from our fingers. Okay, because we only pull the string and we only make it rotate, right? So when we cut the rope, we cannot be able to give force through our fingers to the ball or to the rope. So the ball is now free from any kinds of force, right? But the inertia of ball wants to make it rotate since it cannot able to rotate, it start to move tangential to its path. Okay, it start to escape tangential to its path, right? So from this observation, we can say the planet which are around the earth are rotating only because of attraction force provided by the sun. Provided by the earth. Okay. So the moon starts to rotate around the earth because of the gravitational pull towards the earth on the moon. If the earth loses its gravitational force on the moon, then what will happen? The moon will start to move tangentially forever. So this will be applicable for all planets. If we take our solar system, so our planets revolving as well as rotating around the sun. Okay, it's revolving itself as well as rotating around the sun. Why? Because the sun have some centripetal force towards itself. So all the planets will start to rotate around the sun. Okay, so sun have some attraction force on all the planets. If the attraction force between sun and other planets cut off, then what will happen? The planet starts to move in a tangential to its circulating path. Okay, tangential to its orbita. For example, our earth will start to move tangentially if there is no gravitational force, if there is no attraction force between earth and sun, then our earth will start to move tangentially. Okay, then it will escape from our solar system. Clear? So these kinds of resistance to change its direction is known as inertia of direction. Clear? So we can understand this inertia of direction by following example. We tie a stone in a string and we rotate it. The stone follows circular path. When we leave the force from our hand, the stone moves tangentially. So this is an example of inertia of direction. Consider another situation. When we are going in bus, the bus turns left side, then we falls right side. Similarly, if the vehicle turn right side, then we falls left side. We push towards left side. Now you clearly understood what is inertia of direction. So we can say the inability of an object to change its direction of motion on its own is called inertia of direction. Okay, to change its direction of motion. Clear? So these Newton's laws have certain limitations. So what are those limitations? This Newton law only applicable for, or we can say this Newton's first law only valid in certain special reference frames called inertial frames. Okay, so it will be only applicable for inertial frames. So what is mean by inertial frame? So inertial frame means it is a frame or it is a space where we consider an object and forces acting on the object will be zero. That means no forces acting on the object. Or we can say the object will at rest position. Or we can say the object keeps on moving with uniform velocity or constant speed. So we can say inertial frame okay, it is a space or it is a frame where we have three conditions. First one is the object has no force acting on the object. Second one is the object at rest position, or we can say the object moving with constant velocity or uniform speed. Both are same, constant velocity or uniform speed. So such kinds of frames or space is known as inertial frame. Okay, so because of this limitation, Newton's first law is also known as law of inertia. Okay, because only Newton law applicable for inertial frames. It can only be valid in inertial frame. Okay, so we will see what is meant by inertial frame. So there are totally three conditions, as I said earlier. Either the object has no force on it. Okay, next one is the object at rest position, or the object moving with constant velocity. So we can see the Newton first law in this 3 point. If there is no force acting on the object, then it will start to at rest position or keep on moving according to Newton first law. Okay, so in this 3 point we speak about Newton's first law only. Okay, so consider a object, for example a car. Okay, so a car is moving with constant velocity. A car moving with constant velocity. A person standing on the road see that car. Okay, so according to this person, the car is inertial frame. Why? Because the car is moving with constant velocity. Clear? So if a person sitting in the car, if a person sitting inside the car, see this person, the person is at rest position. Or we can say, if we move forward in this car, for example 40 km per hour, what does that mean? The person now will start to move backward 40 km per hour, right? If we are sitting in the car and our car is moving 40 km per hour, if a person standing on the road, he seems like he is moving backwards. Okay, he is moving backwards 40 km per hour, right? So for this person, the car is inertial frame. If a person sitting on the car, for him, this person who is standing on the road is known as inertial frame. Okay, so in generally the earth is taken as inertial frame. Okay, earth is taken as inertial frame. So if we say a car is moving 40 km per hour, how can we say the car is moving 40 km per hour? Okay, so we should take one frame as an inertial frame. For example, we take the road as inertial frame, which means no force acting on the road, right? And the road is at rest position. No force acting on the road and the road is at rest position. So with respect to the road, my car is moving 40 km per hour. If we did not take anything as an inertial frame, then we cannot able to say the speed of an object, right? So if we want to define the motion of an object in a magnitude, then we should take one frame as an inertial frame. Okay, we should take one frame as an inertial frame. So we take this road as an inertial frame, that is the road is at rest position. So if I am standing on the road, I can say the car is moving 40 km per hour. For me, if the car is moving with constant velocity, then the car is known as inertial frame. If the car is moving with acceleration, what is meant by acceleration? Change in velocity with respect to time. The car is moving with acceleration. Now the car is not taken as inertial frame. Okay, so if a body gain acceleration, it does not belongs to inertial frame. Gain acceleration, it's not inertial frame. Clear? So if the same car gain acceleration, that means its velocity change with respect to the person who is standing still on the road, then the car is no longer taken as inertial frame. Okay, see, in order to define the movement of an object with a magnitude, so certainly we have to take one frame as an inertial frame. So we take earth as an inertial frame. But do you think earth is at rest position? Definitely not, because earth is keep on rotating, right? Earth is keep on rotating. But still we take it as inertial frame. Why? So we are in the earth, we cannot be able to sense the movement of rotation of earth. Okay, we cannot be able to sense the rotation of or revolution of earth, right? But we are sitting still. The every object on the earth is sitting still, is at rest position. Even though the earth is rotating very fastly, it is revoluting itself, but still we cannot able to sense the rotation or revolution of the earth. So that's why we take earth as an inertial frame. We do any experiment in lab, then we need not to consider the rotation of the earth. We need not to consider the revolution of the earth, because the revolution or rotation of the earth does not create any effect on the earth, any effect on the experiment which we are doing in our lab. But if we send a satellite to the moon, at that time, if we look our earth from the moon, then the earth will starts to rotate continuously. Now we cannot be able to take earth as inertial frame. Why? Because it is accelerating. Whenever an object starts to rotate, it means it accelerating. Okay, now we cannot be able to take that the earth is an inertial frame. If we look the earth from outer space, if we look the earth from moon, or if we look the earth from satellite, okay, in a space vehicle, now we cannot be able to take the earth as an inertial frame, since it is rotating with respect to, it is rotating on the axis of equator. Okay, so if an object is at rest position or moving with constant velocity and also no force acting on the object, then we take that kinds of frame is as inertial frame. Okay, for example, our house is an inertial frame. If you take a table which is at rest position, it is an inertial frame. Or if you take an object moving with constant velocity, so that object is considered as inertial frame. Clear? As I said already, Newton's first law is only applicable for inertial frames. So what will happen to the non-inertial frames? Consider a situation, a train is moving, okay, a train is moving, okay. So we consider a table on the train, Now the train is at rest position, We place an object on the table. If the train will start to accelerate suddenly, okay, it starts to accelerate suddenly, then what will happen to this object? This object fell down, right? Why? Because the train is accelerate suddenly, this object fell down. Now think about Newton's first law. What is Newton's first law? Until an external force acting upon the object cannot be able to change its state of rest or uniform motion. But here, we did not give any external force on this object, but still, this object changed its state of rest. This object moved without giving external force, which is totally violent against Newton's first law. Because this frame is no more considered as inertial frame. This is non-inertial frame. Okay, so this is non-inertial frame since it starts to accelerate. It did not move with constant velocity. It starts to accelerate it. So this is considered as non-inertial frame. So in non-inertial frame, Newton's first law is not applicable. Clear? So this is all about today's class. I hope you enjoyed today's class. Okay, so today we study about Newton's laws and inertia. So 3 types of inertia. These are very important for upcoming classes. Okay, in upcoming classes we will solve some numerical problems based on these Newton's laws. So watch clearly, okay, and make notes. Okay, so thanks for watching. I will meet you in next class. Thank you so much.